Welcome back, brothers and sisters. This is The Second Legacy, and thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend, but we are going to start this week out right. We have something so amazing from gun controllers to Biden, the ultimate backhanded compliment, and you guys are going to love this, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think in the comments field right down there. And of course, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. We would love to have you help us spread freedom across this amazing country, and thank you so much in advance for that consideration. So as you know, I am Braden, the guy across from me is Tim, and we are going to dive into this, and I cannot wait to get into this, and make sure you guys check out LAS Concealment, the sponsor of this content. And the content today is brought to you by LAS Concealment. And if you're in the market for a holster for your favorite freedom tool, LAS Concealment is worth a look. They have everything that you could imagine, all molded from Kydex to your said freedom tool. Everything is fit directly to that model for a superior comfort and safety. They have inside and outside the waistband options, multiple designs, all sorts of different colors, and they are tested by the world's most elite special forces. Make sure you check it out. There's a link in the description box below, and thank you so much to LAS Concealment for making this content possible. All right, so thank you to LAS Concealment. Tim, before we get into anything, the backhanded compliments, the Biden, the gun control groups, how you doing, man? You're back in studio. Good to have you back.
Yeah, back in studio, out of Texas, where it was 110 degrees, but guess what? That's moving north and east, and it's going to be upon us in a couple of days.
It's following you.
Warming is following me around the globe. What's up?
You know what? It's just a thing. You enjoyed it so much. You got those sunglasses. You're ready. You are ready.
I am ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sun is not a problem for me. Wish the thing would burn out, but since it won't, I'm just going to deal with it.
You know, whatever. Well, you know, Tim, it's Monday, so you got to come strong on a Monday for the people of the Second Legacy. So I think there's nothing quite like starting on a week with a backhanded compliment from a gun control group to Biden about his election bid. What do you think? You want to dive right into it?
Oh, let's do it, because this one's pretty funny.
This is the delicious right here, people. Gun safety groups back Biden in 2024 with no other alternative. It's actually
go Biden.
Go
because
Biden.
We don't have anybody else to back.
Go Biden, maybe? Question mark?
Yeah.
We got nobody else. This came out today. This is not an old article. So we're going to dive into a few of these things. It's the reason why there's no alternative. And you know what, Tim, it just occurred to me. Before we even dive in, before we even get into the evidence of why there's no alternative, Gavin Newsom is trying really hard to be that alternative. What?
Yeah, he is.
I mean, did the gun groups not get the memo?
Yeah, old Gabby's waiting in the wings, man. He's just out there kind of, putting out feelers, making strong statements, pimping this 28th Amendment nonsense. He's just trying to position himself so when Biden falls on his face, which he's going to do, because look, the Democrats really don't want Biden. He's wildly unpopular. They're doing everything they can to prop him up. All the media outlets, except for a handful, are doing everything they can to hide all the corruption that's being reported and all the investigations going on. They're focusing on trying to bring Trump down. But Democrats, despite all what the media is doing to run interference for them, they're scared of Biden because he is a walking gaffe. The guy cannot go in front of a camera anymore without a script, which he carries in his hand, and many times it's written so largely that you can actually read it.
Big circles.
It's like, you say this, they stand here, you stand there. It's like, my gosh, this is the leader of the free world. He needs cue cards to figure out where to stand on stage and what to say.
Yeah.
So they're nervous, and rightfully so. But, but Biden has not always been anti-gun. You go back to 1985, he was quite pro-gun. Matter of fact, he didn't support any new gun control and famously said things like, well, there's no gun law you can pass, and I'm paraphrasing, that would, change the outcome. It's not going to reduce crime. Basically saying what we argue, which is it's a people problem. It's a culture problem. Trying to blame guns for what the actions of people is not really intelligent.
Correct.
But he used to be that way. So I don't know if that factors into this, but I think they're just worried that the old man just isn't delivering.
I think there's a sliding scale of Biden on gun control. First, it started with where you're talking about. Then it became just fire a shotgun in the air twice. And now it's like anything with a gun is evil and must be banned from the executive bureaucracies because Congress won't do it. It's been a sliding scale of fun. I'll tell you that, Tim. It's been good stuff. Well, let's dive into the backhandedness because I'm chomping at the bit. I'm amped. Well, let's start with number 2, Mr. Producer. With the U.S. topping more than 400 mass shootings in 2023 alone, a prominent contingent of gun violence prevention groups with little to no alternative in 2024 has thrown its weight behind President Biden's re-election bid. Like, this is from The Hill, dude. Like, how backhanded is that? Anyway, we'll get that in a second. So this is the other part here. Some of those same advocates, however, maintain they want to see more out of the Biden administration on the matter, even as they acknowledge he's the only viable candidate for them when it comes to efforts to curb gun violence. What more could they possibly want this guy to do? The executive overreach that he has done in the past 2.5 years is beyond insane.
Yeah.
But, they have no alternative, Tim.
He would literally sign anything they put in front of him.
He
right?
has.
You would think that these clowns would be more concerned about winning the House back than worrying about what Biden's going to do. If that potato gets back in office, you could slide a blank piece of paper in front of him and he would sign it. I mean, they could put a law in front of him that says take all gun owners and former gun owners out and shoot them in a ditch, and he would sign that. I mean, anything they put in front of him, he would sign. He just isn't aware of what's going on anymore.
No, he's a rubber stamp. He's
is
100% rubber stamp.
So in my view, he's their best option, and they might even be more scared of Harris because Kamala Harris, she will be president. If they run her with him, we don't know. I mean, we're literally coming up on the primary season, and we don't know what Biden's doing. Now, he says he's going to run, but he's made no effort to run. The guy hasn't hired anybody for his campaign. He's literally on a beach in Delaware when everybody else is in Iowa, one of the biggest, lead-ups to the 2024 election there is, and he's just absent.
It worked the first time.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that's the strategy.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
We're going to hide this election too.
We'll be over here. Just let me know if Trump won or not. What?
Yeah. We don't need to hire anybody. What's funny is he's raising tens of millions of dollars and he's not even trying. I mean, they're so desperate to reinstall this guy that he just 100%. I'll just go over here and have Hunter hand me my bag of cash, and then the super PAC will hand me another bag of cash, and it's like, jeez, man.
And meanwhile, Gavin's sitting there going, guys, seriously, I'm ready. Have you seen my hair? I'm ready.
I got the new gel,
28th Amendment? 28th Amendment? Anybody? We need another California gun law?
Right.
Do I need to prove my bona fides anymore? Come on.
See, Gavin's their hope, right? It's not Joe that they got to worry about. It's Gavin they're trying to install. I don't know.
It's the Gavster. I'm excited.
Yeah. It's funny.
Oh, I'm here for it. Well, it's funny that we talked about it, Tim, about the pushing the executive powers and being a rubber stamp. Listen to the next thing. Again, this is from the Hill. This is not from me, all right? The White House has pushed its limits in terms of executive powers to curb gun violence, especially given a divided Congress with little appetite to broach the subject in an election year. In its latest move, administration officials are eyeing a Justice Department-led expansion of background checks for gun purchases. But one of the big asks, Tim, advocates say the White House hasn't come through on its establishment of a designated office solely focused on curbing gun violence. Man, if only he had.
Now, if you actually take a look at national data, what they call gun violence, which is just violence where people misuse firearms, what they're calling gun violence is actually down considerably. Now, especially it's not down It's not down in the major cities. The major cities are unraveling. I mean, all the videos you see on social media of people doing wild things and just complete craziness going on, people beating each other down in the cities, beating each other up in the stores and restaurants and shooting each other. That's coming out of our major cities.
100%.
These are far left bastions of pro-gun control, pro-everything, and anything they can ban or any restriction they can place upon you, they're all for it. And yet they're the ones that are leading the problem because the rest of the country is living in relative peace and it seems to be getting better. So, but they don't want to talk about this. They got to keep going out there. There's 400 instances of mass shootings. And their definition of a mass shooting is a joke.
Exactly. Boom. Exactly. I mean, a drive-by for these people, a drive-by is a mass shooting.
Right.
I mean,
and these are things that have been going on in major cities, gang violence, been going on for decades.
100%.
Right? And it's not on the increase anywhere in America except in the cities where they are anti-gun.
Weird.
Their gun control isn't working. So they think because the gun control in the city isn't working, they got to impose it upon us who behave ourselves. they got to take our guns away to make the people in the cities that can't behave themselves behave themselves. That's like me wearing a winter coat to keep you warm. It's stupid.
Oh, that was good. We need to. That's a T-shirt. That's happening. That was good. I'm gonna put my coat on to keep you warm, dude. That is, man.
Gun control in a nutshell.
Gun control in a nutshell. That is really, really solid. But it's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an absolute great point. But you know what, Tim?
Yes.
Maybe this is it. Maybe because the lefties never go outside of cities, that just is their picture of America, and everywhere is like that. Maybe that's it.
I had some guy on Twitter arguing with me that I'm attacking city dwellers. No, I'm not. I'm attacking leftist policies that are applied in cities. I'm not attacking city people. He's like, you country people just think that you don't have crime. We do. People steal each other's dirt bikes. People throw rocks 100%. At cars. We're not running around gunning each other down, having takeover events in the middle of highways.
Slightly different.
A little different, yeah.
Slightly different. Well,
there's a reason people are fleeing to the country.
Exactly. There's a reason cities are being emptied and blue states are exiting. People are exiting hard. But the thing that caught my attention in that clip that we just read, Tim. This is from The Hill. The Hill does not know how to be pro-gun or even neutral on guns, and yet they're coming out and saying the White House has pushed its limits in terms of executive powers.
So they're making excuses for him. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they have, but it's like
you pushed their limits. I thought the media was saying that this was like the obvious way to do, and Biden is the most virtuous human alive because he's really utilizing the executive branch. He's stepping on the people and the rights across the entire nation, overbearingly using the executive bureaucracies to reinterpret definitions to make new laws. I think pushing its limits is a little bit of an understatement.
Oh, I've seen so many people on social media, anti-gunners, saying he hasn't gone far enough.
Oh,
what else can you do? Tim, and here they are saying, he's gone as far as he can.
Right. But you know what, Tim? What's a good article if you don't have a little Jekyll and Hyde? Because interestingly enough, the way you set that up, check this next clip out. We're ready.
Okay.
Here's number 4, Mr. Producer. However, to many advocates, Biden is the better choice when faced with the alternative. When you're talking about life and death and gun violence, talking about the safety of our kids, it's never enough. We have an unprecedented gun violence crisis in the nation, but what's clear is that President Biden is doing something about it. He has succeeded where other people have failed. Peter Ambler, co-founder and executive director of Giffords, told The Hill.
Oh, Giffords.
So it's almost... That's weird. I think he just said the quiet part out loud. It's never enough. Almost like their goal isn't safety, but disarmament. Because if you say never enough, that means that you're never going to stop infringing. There's no terminal date.
No, so let's say, I mean, this is something that I deal with on social media quite a bit. The anti-gunners saying, nobody's trying to take your guns away. Give me one example where you can't buy a gun. It doesn't exist. Nobody's coming for your guns. And I can just go through and post law after law after law.
100% right.
And, but they absolutely. Now there may be people that are dumb enough to believe that follow these politicians, that these politicians really don't want to take every gun away. They might be dumb enough to believe that. But the politicians that are trying to enact these laws and policies, very much, I've been caught on way too many hot mic moments. It is not a secret anymore. They absolutely want a complete ban. They're going to lie to us and say, well, we're just going to do it for the safety. And this is the one that just infuriates me when they keep going back to the children. We want to save the children. If we save just one life, we got to save the children. And then when you get done preaching to us about gun control, then you can go over here and preach to us about abortion. And you're going to say, well, any child, it's a woman's choice, whatever. And that's fine. I'm not saying where I stand on the issue, but it just seems hypocritical to me to say, well, we're concerned about the lives of children. Once they get out of the womb, we don't really care about them much. It's like, Tim, if they can survive this gauntlet and get born, then we're going to worry about their lives.
It's so simple, Tim. See, you are clearly not catching the point. If you just change the name from child to embryo or zygote or fetus, that's questionable. If you just change the terms, everything is solid. You're all good because now it's a new conversation. You can't say killing any type of child. That is upsetting and emotional. However, if you utilize the female reproductive rights and it's a healthcare decision between a doctor and a woman, but really it's really just a clump of cells. Oh, look, it's problem solved.
It's just an abnormal growth of cells and we're just going to get rid of it. Just like we would, a lesion on your skin. We're just going to cut that sucker off.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like changing of definitions and changing the language and creating something called newspeak is something that would be essential in guaranteeing tyranny and eroding freedom.
Right.
It's almost like there's a book. What year was that? What year was? Oh, was that?
Was it 1984? 84. Yeah.
It's almost like if you change the vernacular, you get completely different outcomes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Again, it's just the hypocrisy of their arguments, right? That's what we're pointing out. We're not delving 100%. Into the issue of abortion. I mean, you may appear that way, but what we're saying is this is awfully hypocritical to take these two different positions, right? 100%. So just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
Because this channel's about 2A issues, right? So, for the most part.
Yeah, no, I got you. Well, Tim, I think we landed that plane. Now, this is important because you remember the NRA and dark money. Davey Hawk has told us the gun lobby owns Washington. It's all about that dark money. You know, right? Like, just make sure we get that. Well, listen to this next piece because, oh boy. Number 5, Mr. Producer. Giffords is looking at robust numbers and plans to build on and exceed past amounts and past efforts, Ambler said. In 2020, the group spent over $7.5 million, and Everytown for Gun Safety spent $55 million in 2020. And Biden has already delivered a gun violence prevention message on the campaign trail. Tim, $55 million and $7.5 million towards political campaigns. Does that sound like the gun lobby owns Congress?
Yeah. Right?
Does it sound like maybe there's a slush fund of some sort where tons and tons of money goes in for Democrat politicians who are anti-gun? Almost like it's hypocritical again.
But again, one thing about me is I just distrust politicians in general. I don't care what letters in front of their name.
We all should.
I don't trust them. Right? So this, they're so dishonest in everything that they present to us. When they say, going back to just what you said a few sentences ago, talking about, we just want gun safety. We just want to prevent crime. We want to prevent violence and all this stuff. That's not what you're doing. You're actually encouraging violence. When you tell people that, we're not going to have laws, we're not going to charge people with crimes, we're just going to turn people loose on cashless bail, we're not even going to really hire police or train police, we're not going to do any of that, we're just going to do away with all this stuff, and it's all for safety. And by the way, we're going to take away your right to own a gun because it's for safety. You're not even going to allow you to own body armor because it's for safety. And they keep saying it's for safety. It's for safety. So let me extend this a little bit. So let's just disarm our military, get rid of all of our military troops, send them all home for safety.
For safety. It's for safety.
Right?
That's all good.
How would these politicians feel in the towns where they hate their police and all this other stuff? Let's just send them all home. Let's just send them all home, and then you tell me how safe your city is.
It's for safety, Tim.
It's for safety. And I get sick of this safety, because every time they talk about it, they don't say we want to ban guns. They don't even call it gun control anymore. They call it reasonable safety. Common sense, something about safety. And it's just infuriating. You just said it, and that's what triggered me on another rant. But my gosh, they're so disingenuous. It's just so, and the people that can't see through this is mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, to be fair, kind of a side tangent, it's because of a lack of education. I mean, if you look through any of the 20th century governments who seized complete power over their populations, it all started with, well, it's for safety. We'll protect you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel safe, yeah. Anything? Anybody? Okay. I guess that was safe enough, Tim, right? That was enough distance, but
we need to be very safe. Yes.
Yeah. I feel like it was a safe delivery of a joke. Well, let's wrap this up, Tim, because you know how I love when some gun controllers come out and just say the quiet part out loud. This would be the last clip. So, Mr. Producer, could you hit number 6 for me? The goal of the order is to move the U.S. as close to a system of universal background checks for all gun sales as possible without requiring legislation from Congress. Biden has also acted through executive order to ban unlicensed kits to manufacture so-called ghost guns at home. Weird. Tim, the goal of the order is to move as close to the system of universal background checks as possible? What's that one thing that's crucial to do that? Registry?
Well,
throw that out there.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's been going on forever, right? Like, anytime you fill out a 4473 form, you're technically registering yourself now because ATF can walk into the gun store and take pictures of it and make copies and do whatever, request information, and then they have their own database that isn't searchable. They claim, yes.
Didn't that agent get in trouble? I don't remember. I don't remember the outcome of that. Well, didn't that woman get in trouble?
I don't recall.
I don't recall the outcome, but yeah, I mean that's a good point. It was caught on camera.
Yeah.
And Tim, again, with your conspiracy theory, that is not a searchable database. It is just a large collection of files, which is not searchable, so it's not a database. Duh.
It technically, if you take a look at it, it's just a series of ones and zeros. It's not even data.
I mean, it's not even data. I mean, so stop your fear mongering because that is not searchable, and that is a definition requirement of a database. Right now, it's just a bunch of ones and zeros in a big file that has 900 million names and addresses on it. No big deal.
We're good. that last block that you read,
Yeah.
They say that, we're just moving towards universal background checks, as if that's their only goal in this.
Yes.
But do you think that these groups are going to go, wait, let's say that they pass every gun control measure that they want to. Let's say they get their assault weapons ban, their term, not mine. They get, their universal background checks, which means you just can't sell your property to a relative or something like that. They ban you being able to make your own firearms, something we've been able to do since the founding of our nation. They get all this stuff done, let's say.
Right.
Do you think they're just going to go away? As long as you still have so much as a muzzle-loading, single-shot black powder firearm, they're going to keep coming at you until they get them all. Do you think these groups are going to give up the money, the grift that they're running? Do you think they're just going to go away? No, they're not.
Preach.
So this nonsense of them telling you, we just want reasonable restrictions, and then we're just going to stop there. Nobody's coming for your guns. It's a lie. These people are addicted to the money that's flowing their way, and they're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing until they get them all banned. But then they know they're out of a job. So...
Exactly, Tim.
Yeah.
Freaking exactly. Because it turns out that when you funnel billions and upon hundreds of millions of dollars towards gun control organizations, you need executive directors, you need presidents, you need managers, you need volunteers, you need all the different hierarchy of a corporate gun control branch. And then all of a sudden you have you are facing the requirement of payroll. Well, that's awkward. If you have payroll and you get rid of all the guns, or you meet your common sense objective, but the money stops flowing, well, your entire organization's going to go under unless you continue to invent reasons to get more funding and have more consternation. But I'm sure that's not a plan, Tim.
I'm sure they'll go on to pocket knives if they somehow got their wish. They would move into pocket knives, airsoft, kitchen knives, just like the UK.
Gotta have something.
It's pretty depressing. But yeah, they're not gonna walk. And I'll guarantee you, the leadership of these various groups, Moms Demand Action, Bloomberg, and Everytown, all these clowns, I'll guarantee you, their leadership isn't poor.
Isn't what?
Isn't poor.
Oh,
I'm sure they're not living in hovels in the middle of nowhere.
No.
Living paycheck to paycheck like the rest of us. I can guarantee you, these folks are doing just fine.
Oh, 100%. Money. I mean, Everytown for Gun Safety is funded by Bloomberg at the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars a year from a billionaire. Shannon Watts, Mom Demand Action founder, just got on the board of Everytown for Gun Safety for her actions for Mom Demand Action. I'm sure that's not a paid board position at all. Come on. Come on.
I know. It's so disgusting. But anyway. So, folks, we'll see how this all pans out. Do you think Joe Biden's going to run in 2024? Comment down below. Do you think Gavin Newsom might step in, or do you think we're going to get Kamala Harris? It's going to be an interesting election cycle. So again, comment down below if you'd like to be part of the show. There is a link in the video description. Follow that link. We'll get you on the show. We'll have a great conversation about whatever 2A issues at the top of your mind. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.